Listening to your child read. The 3 pieces of the reading puzzle. This is the first in a series of videos that aims at helping parents understand how they can support their child to become confident readers. So what makes someone good at reading, and how can you help a child learn to read? The easiest way to begin helping your child learn to read is by reading to them every day. A child is never too young or too old. Make reading a special and valued way to spend time together. This video focuses on the 3 essential elements to reading, which are the building blocks to helping a child become a confident reader. I like to refer to these as the 3 pieces of the reading puzzle because a child needs to use all of the pieces when learning to read. A child needs to use their understanding of language structures, which is the way words sound together. A child also needs to use their experiences and prior knowledge to read for meaning. A child who is thinking about what they are reading is able to combine this with language structures to predict what a word might say before reading it. A child also needs to have a good understanding of print. This refers to what is written on the page, for example, the letters, words, and punctuation. If one of these pieces is not being used, then the reading puzzle is not complete. Confident, fluent readers combine all 3 elements to successfully read. This video aims to help you understand the types of mistakes your child is making when reading, so that you can better understand how you can prompt your child to use the missing piece of the puzzle. So looking at the first piece of the puzzle, you need to encourage your child to think about the way words sound together. A child needs to speak in a way that is structurally correct before they can understand how to read and write in a way that is structurally correct. This is why experts are constantly telling parents to talk, sing, and read with their children. By exposing them to language daily in a variety of ways, children learn to understand all the wonderful ways words are put into sentences, books, letters, poetry, nursery rhymes, songs, recipes, and so on. By understanding these language structures, children are able to guess what a word might say before reading it, resulting in more fluent reading. They will also be able to correct themselves by listening to the way words sound together. Here is a text example to highlight when a child is not using correct language structures to help them read. The hammerhead shark swimmed through the ocean. As you can see, the child has read swimmed instead of swam, which looks similar because they have the same first letters, and the meaning is clear because the shark is swimming. However, swimmed is grammatically incorrect. Another example is the hammerhead shark swam too through the ocean. The child would have read all of the words correctly, but by adding the extra word to means that what they have read does not sound right. In both of these examples, the child needs to be prompted to think about the way words sound together. For example, after this text example, you might say, "Did that sound right? You read all the words correctly, but I think you added a word, which makes it sound a bit funny." The School Start Buddy has 24 blank magnetic whiteboard blocks that allows you to make sentences relevant to what your child is doing. All you need to do is write the words from a sentence, for example from a favourite book or school reader, and then randomly place the words on the board. Your child will need to put the words together in a way that sounds right, looks right, and makes sense. You could also use the blocks to help learn a particular word. Recreating sentences is such a simple and fun activity that helps children to monitor that what they are reading sounds right. The second piece of the reading puzzle draws on children's knowledge and experiences in order to understand what they are reading. This might be understanding how different types of text are written. For example, a child who has experience with following a recipe will find reading a recipe easier. The more we can build on a child's vocabulary and life experiences, the more clues they will have when it comes to reading. Children need to constantly monitor that what they are reading makes sense by following the meaning of what they are reading. This will not only help them to correct errors, but they will be able to decode words quicker. Please do not cover the pictures when a child is learning to read because these are valuable clues that we want children to use. Here is a text example to highlight when a child is not using meaning to help them read. As you can see, the first letter in the word stepped is the same as in the word swam, so the error visually looks similar. The words fit together in a way that sounds right. However, this child is not reading for meaning as sharks do not step. The error does not fit the context of the entire text. This child would need extra prompting and strategies to think about what the text is trying to say. For example, you might say, "Did that make sense? Do sharks step? Can you think of another word that describes how sharks move that begins with the same letter?" Before asking your child to read a book, it is important to first introduce the book so that they are prepared to use meaning as a reading tool. You might do this by asking your child to predict what the book is about. You might ask what they know about the topic and then provide any relevant background knowledge that will help them understand the text better. You could look at the cover and let your child flick through the pages to see the pictures before they begin reading. And you might want to reveal any relevant features of the book, for example, highlighting new concepts such as page titles and speech bubbles. Doing this sets children up for a successful reading experience. The third piece of the reading puzzle requires a child to have an understanding of print and the clever ways letters are put together to make words. This requires a child to think about what the text looks like. Without a good understanding of print, we are only relying on guessing the word according to what makes sense or sounds right, so it would be impossible to read all the words correctly. Understanding punctuation also helps us to use the other pieces of the puzzle. For example, when we see an exclamation mark, we imagine the print to be loud. Here is a text example to highlight when a child is not using the print to help them read. As you can see, the child has read moved instead of swam. Since the error does not look similar to the correct word, then this indicates that the child has not used letters to help them read that word. The child is, however, using language structures and meaning cues, as the hammerhead shark move through the ocean sounds right and makes sense. If a child were to make a lot of these types of errors, then they would need extra prompting and learning activities to strengthen their ability to look at the letters and sounds in words. The School Start Buddy has 57 wooden magnetic letters that are displayed clearly on one of the magnetic whiteboards. Magnetic letters are excellent for teaching children to read and spell words. For example, magnetic letters can be used for teaching letter recognition and blending letter sounds to read words. They can also be used to help children learn to write special words such as their names. They can be used to highlight letter patterns in words, for example, the E sound. By adding and taking away different letters, children learn to identify common spelling patterns and make connections between words. The 50 blank sight word cards allow you to write words from the books or school readers that your child is learning to read. This means that you are teaching your child to read words that they are actually using. Next time you listen to your child read, try to think about the different strategies he or she is using. Is your child using the letters and sounds to help them read, for example, the first letter in words? Does what they read sound correct? And are they using what is happening in the story to help them read? Ultimately, you want to encourage your child to use all three elements when learning to read. Once you feel confident with these elements, the next step is to encourage your child to use reading strategies, which are explained in my next video at www.schoolstart.com. My name is Sharona Edwards and I am a teacher, wife and mother of 4 beautiful children. I created the School Start Buddy because I am passionate about giving children the best start to reading and writing, and I wanted to create a resource that was easy for parents and fun for children. Please visit my website www.schoolstart.com.au if you would like to learn more about the School Start Buddy.